Welcome to IAYTD. It's Friday and today is Comic Fights. Last week we had probably the toughest comic fights because I'm still not sure who won. Now here's the thing, it's Ghost Rider versus the Swamp Thing, and a lot of people came out and supported Ghost Rider, and they said that basically his pen and stare would just destroy Swamp Thing, and he could with his Hellfire destroy the entire planet. But here's what I'm struggling with. Swamp Thing cannot kill Ghost Rider. Not a question about it. Ghost Rider is indestructible to anything Swamp Thing could throw at him. But I'm not sold on the fact that Ghost Rider could destroy Swamp Thing, because he would have to destroy the entire planet's ecosystem. And as far as I know, Ghost Rider has to revert back to become Johnny Blaze. And Johnny Blaze cannot survive without oxygen. As a guy, he is vulnerable. As Ghost Rider, he is unstoppable, but he has to become Johnny Blaze. As far as my understanding is, he cannot be Ghost Rider indefinitely. So unless he destroys the entire Earth's plants, he cannot destroy Swamp Thing. There's also the question of the pen and stare even being effective on Swamp Thing. Does he have a soul? Because he could be destroyed and a new body would grow. So he's not really like in a body. Like, does he have a soul? He could exist in plants that don't have eyes, which means the pen and stare would not work. There have been many cases of the pen and stare not working and being almost like hurting Ghost Rider for trying to do it. So I'm conflicted. The easy answer is yes, Ghost Rider could destroy Swamp Thing, but could he destroy Swamp Thing to the point of not coming back? I'm not sold. So I'm gonna say it's a stalemate because they would just be unable to stop each other unless some new evidence comes into play. But my initial thought based on all of that is they could not take each other out permanently, that is. So for this week, let's get into something simpler. We have two people each with the power to create massive destruction using just their voice. We have Banshee from the X-Men versus the Black Canary from DC. So let's talk about Banshee first. Banshee is a mutant, and his ability is to create these sonic blasts using his voice. So he could use it destructively, he can use it to fly, he can create a shield around him so he can stop projectiles, he can stop harm by the sound. His strength is not in fighting. I mean, he's a decent fighter, but his strength is in tactics, in strategy, and being a leader. Other cool things he can do with his voice, he can use it like a sonar. So if it was pitch black, he can use it to pick up on where things are. He can use it to impact someone's balance and even make them pass out if he wanted to. So he can use it for unique things like that. Now, since he's putting out all of this sound, he is immune to sound. That if his screams don't hurt him, Black Canary's would not hurt him either. So Black Canary is going to need to get creative here. So let's talk about Black Canary. Black Canary, like Banshee, can destroy things, right? So she can kind of do this blast and destroy objects. She doesn't have some of the other abilities, but what is unique to her is she can also she can either mimic or make sounds that are not just screaming. So she can use this in terms of tactics and maybe fool Banshee, trick him. She can use this to some sort of advantage. But she doesn't have the shield capabilities and she doesn't have the flight capabilities. So her advantage is in terms of combat. That the Black Canary in the DC universe is one of the most skilled martial artists out there. She is a beast. So she knows all sorts of different martial arts and fighting techniques, and one-on-one in a fight, a fist fight, undoubtedly would she be able to take out Banshee. But we need to look at their full capabilities. That she has this martial arts background, the ability to mimic and create sounds, where Banshee is able to fly, maybe has a heads up in terms of tactics, maybe. While he led Generation X, she actually led the Justice League, so that's a toss-up, but it wasn't for very long. So he could fly, create the shield. There's unique things about both of them, but the sheer sonic destruction is probably going to negate itself. That both of them are basically used to their own screams and so won't be affected. So it comes down to these supplemental sound abilities and physical combat. So what do you think would happen here if Banshee took on Black Canary? I want you to shout out in the comments what you think would happen, and that's it. We'll see you next week.